Hi guys, you welcome back to my channel. Today we want to look at how to identify basic oxide, amphoteric oxide and neutral oxide. This video is based on one of our subscribers' requests. And how can you easily identify the basic oxide, amphoteric oxide and neutral oxide? It is very simple. So at the end of this video, you will understand the concepts of oxide itself, then how to identify each of the classification of oxide. So if at the end of this video you find this video informative and it helps, do well to share among your colleagues. Thanks. So now back to the class. What do you understand by oxide? Oxide are binary compound. Oxide are binary compound formed by the reaction of oxygen with other elements. Oxygen is highly reactive in nature. So now that word binary, let's take a look at the explanation. Reacting with what? Oxygen. With other elements. The other elements can be typically a metal and what? A non-metal. Are you with me now? So that other element can what? Be classified as either a metal or what? Non-metal. That is to tell you that when you further explain the concept of oxide itself, it means that oxygen, when combined with metal or react with metal and non-metals, they form what we call an oxide. So for you to get that, or for you to get the picture of what I just said now, you have to look at the types of oxide. The first one is acidic oxide. And when we look at the acidic oxide, I will take that after explaining this three oxide now. So the first one I want to take a look here is the basic oxide. So what do you mean by this basic oxide? Listen to the definition. These are compounds which react with oxygen, typically non-metals. That is, these are the compounds in which, when they react with water, they produce a base or they form a base. So you can say they are compounds which, when react with water, that is, oxygen reacting with what? Water will produce a base, but the strength of the base depends on the compound itself. Is that clear now? So let's take a look at this now. And for us to look at the basic oxide, we are going to look at the strong base as well as the weak base. Don't forget that we are talking more about oxide and we're talking about what? Basic oxide. How water reacts with it, or the reaction of oxygen with water to produce an oxide. So now this is okay. You can say sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. They are what? Strong base. Then magnesium oxide is a weak base. So let's take a look at the reaction of oxygen with water, or the reaction of the compound with oxygen. So for example, now I have a what? Sodium oxide plus water. So let's see, we have sodium hydroxide. So class, this compound is not balanced because at the reactant side you're having two sodium, two hydrogen, and what? 1 plus 1 of this oxygen will give us what? 2. So now adding 2 to this, now this, both reactant side and product side are what? Balanced. To tell you that what? This definition that when a basic oxide reacts with water, the form or produce a base, but not one thing, the strength of the base depends on the compound itself. So let's take a look at this also. We have potassium oxide plus water. We have what? This. Don't forget, I told you guys that these two are classified as a what? A strong base. So the next one is amphoteric. So what are amphoteric oxide? They are compound which, when react to oxygen and with other elements, typically a metal. They are also a compound which, when react with water, produce an acid or a base. Again, these are compounds which, when react with water, chemically produce an acid or a base. So you can say they are substance which reacts chemically with water to produce either an acid or a base. So example of this, for this amphoteric oxide, so you can see now here I show you guys under the basic oxide how you can easily identify them. So here we have aluminium oxide. I'll tell you a preference or why this aluminium has highest priority to react with either a base or a what? Or an acid. So we also have what? Zinc oxide, and we also have what? Beryllium oxide. Don't forget, I told you guys that aluminium has the highest priority to react with either an acid or a base. So the last one is neutral oxide. So when we look at this neutral oxide class, they are compound which, when react with oxygen and other elements, typically in non-metals, they do not produce either an acid or neither a base. So that factor for them to produce an acid or a base makes them what? Neutral. So we can say they are compound which, when reacts with water, do not produce neither an acid nor a base. I say it now. That makes them what? Neutral. So example of this, examples, we have carbon monoxide, we have nitrous oxide, we have nitrogen oxide, and phosphorus pentaoxide. All these here, let's say they are what? A good example of neutral oxide. Don't forget carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, nitrogen oxide, or we call it nitric oxide, and phosphorus pentaoxide. So when we talk about the last one, which is not among what the subscribers demand for, it is the what? The acidic oxide. When we talk about acidic oxide, they react with water to give off an acid, or they react with water to produce or form what? Acid. Is that clear? So guys, if you find this video more informative, do well to share among your colleagues, drop a comment, even if it is just a